Sugar, it just gave me a notice. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm not usually live twice in a day, but I am today. Welcome again. I'm Nancy Quinn, business coach and body language trainer to interior designers, and I am here with Carleen Lamay from c2accounting.com. She is a bookkeeper, which all of you should have, a bookkeeper. So, Carleen, this subject of how to stay organized for taxes as a designer year-round,
Yes.
I think is pretty huge, because I can't tell you how many designers come into my program, and one of the first thing I ask is, did you file your tax returns? How'd you do last year? And I find out all kinds of, I filed an extension, I haven't done it yet, it's really messy, and I always say, call Carleen. So
Well, I appreciate that.
So why don't you walk us through this a little bit, and we'll get everybody on the right track.
Yeah, so let's start by saying that today's topic is less about tax law and more about stress prevention, because when you think about it, it's the tax stress that really gets people, and a lot of that has to do with disorganization. So
Yes.
if you're DIYing your books yourself, it's about staying organized and staying on top of them. If you're working with a bookkeeper, it shouldn't be that much of a stress because your bookkeeper is going to be staying on top of them throughout the year. Most designers, they don't really hate taxes. I don't think any of us really hate taxes. We hate the unknown, right? We
Yes.
hate the uncertainty. We hate the surprise. So by having your bookkeeping done throughout the year, April just becomes another day. It's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, I remember when my accountant asked me, "Are your books closed?" I'm like, "Yeah, Carleen does it right away." Like,
I know.
I think they're closed.
I remember that you sent me an email. Go, wait, are the books ready? And I was like, we sent your statement like a month ago. Like it's done. And, like for us, and that's the thing when you're working with a bookkeeper in December, January comes around, we're closing December books. It's just another month for us. I mean, we may have a few extra things to do, but we're done and we're moving on to the next month. So yeah, less
Yeah.
stress.
Less stress.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So
It really is bad when someone gets behind, because it makes them delay even further,
mhm.
right? And they can't sleep, and they get all uptight. Their accountant needs all this information, and then they're causing you to they're trying to get you to panic with them.
Right. And you know what happens is people think, oh, I'm bad at math or I'm bad at numbers. And it's really not that at all. It really comes from lack of clarity, inconsistent tracking. I see a lot of people who aren't working with a bookkeeper who will wait until January, February and try to do 10 months worth of bookkeeping. Now, if you're not used to QuickBooks on a normal month, or if you were staying on top of it, imagine how stressful that is if you try to do 10 months in a weekend, like, and the mistakes that you're going to make. And you know how many times designers who are using third-party software get very frustrated because things may not sync correctly, or they realize they're doing double income. And so by waiting and kind of compounding that to the last second, it is stressful. And I don't like stress. Do you?
I can't stand stress from being unorganized.
Mm-mm,
Right?
not at
Like,
all.
I haven't done what I was supposed to do every single month, and now it's accumulated, and I start to feel nauseous.
Yes.
I have to be organized. I have to either hire someone to be organized for me, with me, or I have to be organized in my own world. Otherwise, I get a lot of anxiety.
Exactly. I agree. And I think one source of anxiety for a lot of people is, am I missing expenses? Am I missing something that I can write off for the business? I get that question a lot. Well, what business expenses could I be writing off? And I'm like, well, anything that you're doing for your business should be running through a business account, whether it's a checking account or credit card, and it's in your books. Ergo, it's going to be captured. There's no like secret magical deductions that we just don't know about. As long as it's legitimate and it's reasonable for your business, it is a business expense. So, not trying to cheat the system or kind of skirt the way things are, just keeping good tracking of everything, and then being consistent, not mixing a lot of personal and business expenses. I think that's where people really do get a little caught up when they're asking about, am I missing something? It's because they may have paid for something on a personal card and it's not in QuickBooks. And now they've forgotten that 6 months ago they spent $300 on whatever it is. So by being consistent about using those business accounts, that kind of alleviates that issue. And also, if you happen to spend money for the business on your personal account, making sure that you then go back and record that in QuickBooks. And there's a way, work with your bookkeeper to figure out how to do it, but there's a way to record those personal paid expenses in QuickBooks so they're captured at tax time.
Okay, because I remember asking you this once before, years ago. I had put some personal stuff on my business account. And then, like you said, vice versa, because I went to the store and I didn't have my personal card with me. I only had my business card. So it was like definitely stuff that shouldn't have been on my business card. And I remember panicking, going, how do you correct this? Is this like a thing? And you were like, it's easy. It's just an adjustment. It doesn't, like, we don't know things, so we panic, which is why it's good to someone like you, you know, where we can go, is it a big deal?
It's the unknown. So let's just clear that up. If you happen to pay for something that's personal with your business card, that would be considered an owner's draw. So when you're categorizing, you want to categorize that as an owner's draw. It's a little bit more complicated on the opposite. So if you pay for something personally if you pay for something that's a business expense on a personal card, you have to do like an actual entry. And that's where we wouldn't even try to explain how to do that. Definitely reach out to someone to support you in getting that into QuickBooks.
Okay. Okay. All right. So what do they need to do to stay organized year round? Let's give them a very distinct.
So we want to talk about simple, repeatable habits and not about perfection. Because here's the thing with anything that any kind of habit that you're building, it takes time, and give yourself grace. So let's just start there. So you're not going to get it right every single time, but let's just try to be consistent. So monthly. So let's start back weekly. If you're DIYing your books, then weekly you should be categorizing your transactions. Now, your bookkeeper, if you have a bookkeeper, they may be categorizing it monthly, but it's easier for us to do that. When you're doing it yourself, it could be easily become overwhelming. So as I say, do it in micro chunks. It may take you 10 minutes a week if you're doing it weekly, right? So that's categorizing. Monthly, you have to reconcile, and reconciling. Yeah, for those of us who are older, remember this, and the younger generation may not, but back in the day, you would have like a checkbook register and your physical statement, and you would like actually like check off.
I'm looking for it around here so I can show the younger people what that actually looks like. But we actually
we'll have to do that one day. We'll have to show them what an old school reconciliation looks like. But in QuickBooks, she has it one?
I don't know. I might have one handy. I don't know. Do you know? No, I don't. Because
I have one personally, but it's not here in my office.
I don't even put it in my personal checkbook anymore.
Because who writes them down? So I do. Only because my husband will write checks sometimes to like the plumber and those kinds of people, and I just need to make sure that I don't forget about them. But so but in QuickBooks, if you are categorizing weekly, reconciliation becomes a very easy process. Why do we reconcile? That's really important. We reconcile because the banks make mistakes. Meaning sometimes things don't sync to QuickBooks the way they're supposed to. There could be a transaction that you don't recognize that ended up on your account. There could be fraudulent activity. There's so many things that could happen. And if you're not reconciling, it's very easy to miss, especially if you have a lot of transactions. Gotcha. If you only have a few transactions, you will probably catch it. But if you have high volume, you may miss it. So that's what you should be doing monthly. And then also, obviously things like reviewing your income and your expenses and checking your sales tax liabilities. But those are like your monthly core habits, right? So weekly categorizing, monthly reconciling. Okay. And then quarterly, I think you should be checking in with your tax advisor. And here's why. If, let's say last year, your business had a net income of $50,000, so your tax advisor tells you to make estimated tax payments this year based on what you did last year, right? So let's say this year you're on track to only do $25,000 in net income. Well, you're paying taxes as if you're going to make $50,000, so you're overpaying, and that's cash flow that you probably really would much rather keep in your business. So having those periodic check-ins with your tax professional will help you make adjustments as needed, right? On the opposite side, if you were estimated to make 50 this year, but you're making 100, 200,000, right, which we all want, then you're underpaying your estimated taxes. And that's, then we're looking at penalties and interest for not paying enough. So quarterly, you want to check in with your tax advisor. If you don't have one, get one. Get one who can actually pick up the phone or answer an email when you have a question quarterly.
That's the issue right there.
That is the issue.
You can pick up the phone and ask a question to who's got the tax advisor accounting title. It's
Right.
getting harder, I think, for a
It
lot of
is getting harder. I will say that. Now, I will say as a bookkeeper, what we can do to support you, we're not tax advisors, but we can go, okay, if you're if last year you paid, let's say, 20% of your gross profit, your gross income as taxes, we're going to estimate that. We can help you go, okay, based on last year where you are so far, this is what you should probably put away or be making as estimated tax payment. Now, we're not giving tax advice. However, we are definitely letting you know how we can support you if your CPA or your tax person
Right.
is not being super responsive.
Gotcha. That's helpful to know because a lot of
Yeah.
people are definitely having trouble with that.
Another quarterly tip that really isn't tax related, but more cash flow related, I say reviewing your subscriptions because we all know that we get surprised by subscriptions that we kind of forget about, especially the ones, and I'm really guilty of this. Well, I will buy something for a year because it was cheaper for that first year. It was like if you pay up front, then you get a discount and you forget about it. And then it comes due the next year and you're like,
I gave you a
whoa.
tip last time, though. Remember? Was it?
Yes, you said as soon as you get it, go in, and I did that. As soon as you subscribe, go ahead and cancel right then and there, so you don't
Yeah,
have to
so I
go
literally,
over.
I'll download an app and I'll pay the year price instead of the monthly price because it's something I want to use, but I know I'm
Mhm.
probably not going to use it realistically for more than 5 or 6 months. The most is probably the reality. And so I go in, right? I take a picture of the screen as I'm signing up. That's the place
Mm.
they tell you how you can cancel. So I'll take a screenshot and then right after I pay, I go in to the App Store and I cancel the renewal.
Smart tip. That's a very smart tip, and I did use it already, so thank you again.
Yeah.
So I want to go back for a second. So we talked about weekly categorizing, monthly reconciling, quarterly checking in with your CPA to make sure you're making those estimated payments on time and the right amounts. So yearly, kind of what we talked about before, separating business and personal finances.
Yes.
Yearly just being consistent. And the biggest habit I would say that you want to create is to do it now and don't wait later.
Mm.
um, what is the productivity book? I want to say it's the Get Things Done. Are you familiar with that one? Getting Things Done. It's like one of those productivity experts, and they talk about like a 2 minute rule. Like if you could do something in 2 minutes, do it now. And I would
Yes,
say,
I have read that. Yes.
yeah, in the bookkeeping world, if you can do it within like a half an hour, do it then. Like, you know what I mean? Like, block out the time, put it on your calendar for every week, and just get it done. You will
Yes.
feel a lot less stressful, and tax season will just be another day for you. Like, it just won't be as big of a deal as it is now, and if you're kind of waiting. So,
Yes.
consistency.
Consistency. I got to tell you, stress really stops people in their
Yeah.
tracks and makes them not want to do things. So if you can set up a steady calendar, half an hour to do accounting work, bookkeeping work, whatever you need, whether it's talking to your bookkeeper, getting something for them, put it on your calendar for every
Hmm.
week. You got a half an hour on your calendar, bookkeeping and accounting work. This way, if you don't have anything, you have an extra half an hour in your life. But if you do, you're making sure that you're getting it done.
And probably after the first few weeks, you won't even need a whole half an hour. Like you said, you'll have
Exactly.
a time block for something else. Because the
Yeah.
biggest thing is what happens is people, this was called the avoidance cycle, right? So they fear not knowing what to do, so they don't do it, so they delay it. Then it
Yes.
becomes a bigger mess, and then there's more fear. And like that cycle just keeps happening, right? So it's just
Mhm.
kind of like avoiding the bookkeeping doesn't make it go away. Um, yeah, it is
It
just
doesn't.
part of being a business owner.
It is. All right. So if you have not watched from the beginning, please go to my YouTube channel and watch, or my Facebook page, or my Interior Design Business Forum Facebook group. Carleen's also streaming it on her YouTube channel, so you can go there as well and watch, because we repeat this every year. And I still meet people who can't get it done for some reason. And there's valid reasons. And then there's
Yes,
just not keeping organized enough to get it done.
right.
Super important to help you become a solid business owner and the
Yes,
CEO of your destiny here, right? Did we miss
exactly.
anything, Colleen, or are we?
I don't think so. I think just organization is going to be key. And here's the other thing I will say though, like we all know the parts of our personalities or the parts of our business that we're just not good at. Like, or we just don't want to do. Like, we're going to avoid it like the plague. If
Yes.
that's you, then it's probably time to just have someone on your team that can do it for you. Hire a
Yes.
bookkeeper. It may be time to just do that and just accept it and go, you
Absolutely.
know what? I'm happiest designing spaces. I'm happiest being creative. I don't want to deal with QuickBooks. And you don't have to.
I got to tell you, it makes me happy just coaching, doing my lives, interacting with you guys, and not having to deal with any of the bookkeeping because of you guys. So it
Yeah.
makes me very happy, makes me very stress-free. And I wake up in the morning and I'm not concerned that something's going wrong because I know there's another set of knowledgeable eyes actually protecting me in the background,
Exactly. And if something
right?
does go wrong, we'll fix it because that's the other thing. That's what you're offloading, right? That expertise is that if something does happen, there's someone else to fix it. You can still go do what you need to do.
Yes, and to remind everybody that QuickBooks is a record keeper. It's not like if the numbers are messed up, it's not affecting your bank account,
Hmm.
right? It's just something that can be fixed. It's just numbers are in the wrong place for your accountant to file
Yes.
at the end of the year for your taxes. So, all right, everyone, go
Yes.
over to c2-accttg.com to get to Carleen, get a free 15 minutes, I think, on your calendar, right?
Yeah, I think it's like 20 minutes. But yeah, we do complimentary consultations all the time.
Yes, to just talk about your books, ask the questions you need to ask and see whether she has a level of service that works for you at the stage of the business you're in now with the systems you currently use. Because
Hmm.
most of the time the answer is yes to that. All my profit insiders who didn't have a bookkeeper before use Carleen. So jump over, take my advice, and go get on Carleen's calendar. So anything else, Carleen, that I missed?
And that will be it. Just hopefully, those who have not already have their books in place, don't stress out about tax season. Reach out to get some help from a bookkeeper, from a tax pro. You may have to do an extension. It is not a failure. It's just reality, and that way you give yourself some breathing room
Yes.
and just do what you have to do and do it right, and that way you're not stressed.
Perfect advice. All right. We will
Hmm.
see you next time. Everybody, go have a great Tuesday and a great week. And Colleen, I'll see you next month. Thanks,
Yeah,
Colleen.
take care.